Welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you here for our webinar Smarter Product Titles, Better Performance Scaling Performance Max Campaigns with Google's Product Studio Text API. A quick brief before we begin. Feel free to ask questions in the chat box and we'll take them up during our live Q&A session. We'll be launching interactive polls and would love to hear your inputs. Lastly, stay tuned till the end and get a chance to grab a 30-day free trial of Google's Titles and Descriptions API too. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. With the right title optimization strategy, brands have seen up to a 50% increase in both reach and revenue just by refining how their products are named. In today's competitive landscape, your product title isn't just a label, it's your first impression on Google Shopping. A well optimized title can be the difference between being buried on page 5 or being featured front and center when customers are ready to buy. Whether you're struggling to get your products noticed, managing a large and diverse catalog, or simply looking to elevate your performance on Google Shopping, this session is designed just for you. In just 30 minutes, you'll discover how title optimization can unlock greater search visibility, higher click through rates, stronger revenue performance. And best of all, we'll walk you through how to implement these strategies at scale, no matter the size of your catalog. So please join me in welcoming our speakers, Anshuk Agarwal, Manu Bhagat, and Ishwinder Baba. Over to you, Anshuk.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Very happy to be part of the webinar today. And like Harleen mentioned, we are very excited to talk about product titles. We have been at Adyogi working with Google for the last close to 1 year on sort of building our tech around how do we optimize titles. And we've also used Google Product Studio Text API. So super excited to be officially launching it today. We did have a webinar around a month back where we spoke about the beta launch, but today we are officially coming out of beta. So really, really exciting day for us today. And I want to take this as an opportunity to thank Ishwinder and Manu both. They have been a big supporter of us along the journey. Numerous calls we have had, numerous back and forths we have had, and that sort of culminates today in our official launch. So that's a small setup intro. I'm one of the founders of Adyogi. Been in working with e-commerce marketing for the last 10 plus years. Have been a Google partner for more than 5 years, and now a lot of focus on tech using our BigAtom tool, which we'll talk about in the subsequent slides. But before we go there, I would like to introduce Manu. He's a partner manager. Manu, if you can just join in with your quick brief intro.
Thanks, Anshuk, and thank you for having us, and thank you for all for joining in. Like Anshuk mentioned, I'm a strategic agency manager at Google. So what that means is we go ahead and support some of the largest agencies in India, and Adyogi is one of them. We're extremely proud today to kind of come together in this very key integration that we've had with Adyogi in terms of BigAtom and integration of our product studio text API there. It's an interesting solution. We're very keen to take this to market, and we've seen extremely great results come through. So just want to, once again, thanks so much for joining in and having us. Anshuk, look forward to today's session. With that, I'll hand it over to my colleague Ishwinder, who has been the key proponent for pushing out this solution. Ishwinder, over to you.
Thanks, Manu, and thanks, number one, BigAtom team, for having us here. It's really exciting to see this come through. It's been a few months of building and a lot more of talking about this. So it's really, really good to see this come through, and you really are at the forefront of bringing this to the market, being amongst the first partners to do this globally. So congratulations on that. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. I'm a part of the product partnerships team on Google Shopping, and we try and help merchants get onto Google and maximize their presence and performance on Google for them. Very happy to be here and happy to talk you through some of the things that we have for you.
Thank you, everyone. So for our audience, let's get things started with a quick poll, and you'll see it on your screens now. So, what are some of the key attributes in GMC which can help you scale your PMax campaigns? I would like to request our audience to please type in their answers. I would request everyone to please submit in their answers. I would request everyone to please submit in their answers. Thank you for your responses. Well, the most important attribute in GMC that helps scale PMax campaigns are the basics. Product data like titles, images, and descriptions, along with strong identifiers, clear pricing, and accurate categories. These directly impact visibility, targeting, and approval rates, which are all critical to scaling effectively. Our goal for the webinar is to help you with the strategies to unlock your full potential on Google Shopping effortlessly. So, we'll kick off with a success story from a leading lifestyle brand, with Anshuk sharing key results and insights from their journey. Next, we will delve deep into the importance of titles and descriptions in scaling both organic and paid shopping efforts. Following that, Ishwinder will walk us through the Product Studio Text API, breaking down the mechanics behind its functionality. Finally, Anshuk will wrap up the session by highlighting how BigAtom streamlines the entire process seamlessly. So now I would like to welcome Anshuk to kickstart this exciting session. Over to you, Anshuk.
Thanks, Arlene. I know by now, I think importance of feed title would probably become something which I hope many of you have heard about it. We have spoken about it in the last 3 to 6 months on several forums. But just for the people who are probably joining us for the first time today, I would like to refresh on why are feed titles important. We'll also talk about some of the work we have done with clients like Bewakoof and Rare Rabbit and what sort of impact we have seen. So this is one of the brands we have been working with. The brand is called as Bewakoof. I'm sure many of you would have come across Bewakoof. They are one of the big fashion apparel brands in India, a part of TMRW Group, which is a part of Aditya Birla. They are very big on the men and women fashion. I would say more related to the younger audiences. And these are some of the products which we see on their website. We've taken a screenshot of those. What we did is around 6 months back, we started working on Bewakoof along with support of Google on can feed titles help us scale the brand? And this is exactly what we saw. This is a joint published case study between Tomorrow Brands, Adyogi, and Google, as you can see at the bottom. And I'll tell you, obviously, there's a lot of content here, but one or two things which really stood out was they had a lot of collection of Harry Potter, which was on their website. But the titles of the products did not call out Harry Potter specifically. So what we eventually did as part of our exercise is we scanned through all their images, we scanned through all the information they have on the product page, and our tool was able to identify these keywords, Harry Potter, and then we appended them to the titles of the products. And this sounds honestly fairly straightforward. What we saw was when we append the right keywords onto the titles, anybody searching for those keywords was able to get these products listed on the top, both in organic and paid shopping. And we saw a huge jump in their PMax conversions, PMax ROS, product page traffic. Of course, in this case, the numbers look super, super amazing, 5x increase. But even if we, let's say, for example, in an average case across brands, we have seen a good 20, 30, 40% uplift in both PMax paid and organic. So that's the kind of impact which titles can create. And the example which I quoted was one among the many things which we did for the Tomorrow set of brands. Now, just to drill a little bit more about what could be some of the other use cases or what all can a title impact. This is the second example I wanted to talk about today. It's of a brand, Forest Essential. We all have heard about it. It's in the beauty space, been around for close to 20 plus years. They have one of the hero products called as Saundarya Cream. And for the longest period of time, the Saundarya Cream is one of the top selling products. The title on the website was Saundarya Cream. The title they were sending on Google Merchant Center was also Saundarya Cream. Now, the point to understand is when people come to Google, they may not necessarily be searching the keyword Saundarya Cream. A lot of times they actually search for certain attributes of the product. For example, you might be searching for 24K gold cream. You might be searching for SPF 30 plus cream, or you might be searching for face cream or sunscreen. Any of those related keywords you might be searching for. If we get all the right attributes onto the title, we have seen that the product starts to appear at the top. Like in this particular case, we also have a product from a brand called Style Dotty, and we saw that they haven't put all the attributes in the title. So we end up seeing Forest Essentials sort of coming at the top versus some of the other brands which may not be coming at the top. And what all attributes can you add? It could be brand name, it could be product name, ingredients, SPF, any of these attributes. And these attributes can vary from category to category. This is what I just, the example which I showed, this is a screenshot of their website. What is very key to understand here is the title on the website need not be same as the title which we send to Google Merchant Center, because website title is more optimized for readability. People might want to read it very easily. But when we send title to Google Merchant Center, we want to make sure that it's optimized so that people can discover the product, which is why title on GMC can contain all these key attributes. Another example which I had shared previously also, this is also similar to the Saundarya Cream example. Lotto has this product called Tokyo Ginza PRT. It's one of their hero products which has been selling very rapidly. But not many people are actually searching for Tokyo Ginza PRT. Instead, people typically search for very commonly used keywords like sneakers, footwear. So if we get all the right attributes, the product can appear at the top. And what I've also mentioned here is Google doesn't auto convert titles with optimized ones. This is not something which they do by default. And that's exactly where sort of we have come in. We have partnered with Google Product Studio API and sort of built this technology as to how we can optimize these feed titles. Just to help everybody understand a little more about attributes, I thought I'll like to sort of share with you what kind of attributes we have seen. The big call out here is the attributes need not be same for every category. For example, when we talk about Falmer shirts, we may talk about wrinkle-free and iron-free. These are attributes for shirts. But when we talk about trousers, we may talk about stripe versus solids. Or we may talk about sneakers, athleisure versus jogging. So attributes keep changing from category to category. And that's exactly why the titles need to take into account which particular category are we talking about here. So we have actually co-created this taxonomy with our work with Google. It's across 42 plus categories where we have identified what attributes are applicable for which category. It's also a taxonomy document. We'll be happy to share with all the attendees out here on what taxonomies we have created with Google. So that sort of is a brief recap of why titles are important. I'm sure some of you would have heard us speak about it previously. What I'll now do is I'll pass it on to Ishwinder to talk a little more in depth about Google Product Studio Text API and how that is critical lever for us to optimize the titles. Over to you, Ishwinder.
Thanks, Anshuk, for that kickoff and very, very practical insights as well. So what we've learned, everyone, so far is that goes to show that titles are important. And we've seen evidence of why and how they help improve performance for brands on Google. And second, Anshuk also touched upon what is needed to build these effective titles. Number one, you need to have the right insights on search behavior. That is, what are the users looking for and how do they look for how do they look for these products? And second, you need this comprehensive list of product attributes which you require as an input to build the right title. At this point, it may also be worth sharing a few of these kind of nuggets on shopping behavior as well, right? What Anshuk was also referring to earlier. We see that shoppers in India tend to be very undecided on brands. So when they search, they actually have more generic searches. And in fact, we see 3 times more generic searches versus brand specific searches. So that's one thing about the shopping context that you might want to take away, which makes titles even more important, because you need to have the right attributes, because the searches are very generic. Second, user behavior can also be very research heavy. So they actually look for reviews, comparisons before they make the decision. So all of this to say, and further emphasize the importance of titles and descriptions, because they have to work well in the context of the user behavior that we see. So you need to learn more about it. Second is, we should also talk about what does a brand need to have in place to get this done, to generate the right titles and descriptions. Number one, they need to identify and source the right product attributes, which may sound trivial, but it's not. To get all the attributes together itself is a task. Second, you need to have the right insights to generate the right structure of the title, right? And that's the taxonomy Anshuk was speaking about, which our team has built. And third is the operational aspect of actually building this into, or plugging this into, the merchant center feed itself, which is, on one side you generate it, but how do you get it live on Google? This is where we've seen brands run into two issues in general. Number one, the information that is required to build these titles may not be readily available. So how do we get that in place? And second, the process that needs to be followed may also be slightly complex for brands to execute. So the challenge here that we wanted to address with this integration also was, how can we make it easier for brands to access this capability to start off with? And we can move on to the next slide as well. And that's where enter Product Studio, Google Product Studio more broadly, and more specifically Product Studio Text API. Now, if you've been following announcements over the past couple of years now, we announced Google Product Studio and it has now developed into a suite of AI-powered tools that help brand enhance their product data and hence performance on Google. The kind of use cases that Google Product Studio more broadly handles is around enhancing images. So you can generate scenes, you can increase resolutions, you can edit backgrounds, you can even generate videos. And now we also have the ability to generate better titles and descriptions through these API. So how does this work? So essentially 3 parts to how the Product Studio Text API works. Number one, as an input, we need to line up everything that you have. So if it's your existing GMC feed, which has the existing titles and descriptions, we need that. On top of that, from a multimodal AI processing point of view, we also use images of the product to infer more and more attributes and build that comprehensive list of attributes that we need. Second, we pass all of these inputs through the API, and that's where AI works its magic, and we infer a lot of attributes that we need to build the right title from the existing information that we have. And third piece is taking all of these attributes and building the right title in the right taxonomy, which is at a category level as well. Next slide. So that's what it does, right? Takes all of these inputs, works the magic of AI, builds on the user insights that we have, and then the output is in the form of a title which is very specific to a category and grounded in user insights as well. So this is how it works. So you can use it for 2 specific use cases. You can improve your existing titles and descriptions as well, or you can use to generate absolutely new titles and descriptions also. In this case, when you see the input, actually the input itself might to a naked eye be very acceptable, unless you see what the output is like, and unless you actually see the kind of new attributes that get plugged into the title here. Next slide. So what we are trying to do is to address these 2 key issues, right? Number one, how to make it easier from a process point of view, and second, how do we make it easier to access the inputs? Looking at this example as well, right? For kurtis, we know from user search behavior again that product type, color, fit, and length are key attributes that users search for. And on top of that, there are other attributes such as material, sleeve, and neckline. And that's what you see when you compare the pre and post output, that these inputs, that these attributes that usually get missed out on and otherwise may look all right, are actually important from a user search behavior and hence performance point of view as well. So next slide, please. This is another example where you see again color is missing, the kind of neck is missing, the sleeve length is missing. And our insights tell us that these are the kind of attributes that the users use to actually search for products such as these, and hence become important from a title point of view as well. Next slide. The top use cases that we see right now for this capability is number one, optimize your existing product titles and descriptions. You could also use the titles that you generate and the descriptions that you generate to improve your product landing pages. The output is completely yours. You could use it wherever. And in case you have within your business product creation flows, you could actually plug this in at the source of it so that you don't need to do this eventually at the end when you start publishing it, but at the time of creation only you can actually plug this capability in as well.
What I'll do is I'll spend a few minutes, more than a few minutes actually. I'll walk you through what work we have done with Google Product Studio Text API and BigAtom. Ishwinder walked us through the work, what is Google Product Studio Text API. What we have done is we have connected it to the BigAtom dashboard. That's step number one. Post that, we have built an entire I would say front end so that you can identify products and categories which you want to optimize using Product Studio Text API. We send that using an API connection, generate optimized titles. Post that, we update these titles into your Google Merchant Center. So we get access to Merchant Center. We update these titles using SFTP method. And the most important, I personally believe, is we measure the impact on the BigAtom dashboard. And I've realized that measurement is actually very, very critical, because unless you know that what impact these titles are generating, we may not have the conviction that we should continue optimizing titles across multiple categories. The process is an iterative one. So we typically recommend brands to start with a few hero categories, see the response, and then extend it to the number 2, number 3, number 4 categories. How does it look? This is exactly what we are unveiling today, our entire Google Product Studio Text API integration. What I've done is I've added a video recording of how does it look on the BigAtom tool. This will give you a very, very good understanding of the end-to-end process. So this is how the screen looks like, BigAtom AI optimization. You can click on generate new AI title. We can build a rule on top of it. Now, rule could be anything. It could be a particular category you want to pick up. It could be your top seller products. It could be your newly launched products. It could be any rule which you can pick up. In this particular case, we have identified category suit sets. This particular category had 72 products. We said preview AI titles. So it shows us 10 titles and their previews. This helps you understand that what kind of incremental sort of titles can get added. I'll just pause it here for you to sort of look at one of the products. Now look at the product which is second from the top or third from the top, Deep Blue Velvet Suit Set. This is the current title which the brand has. And as per our Product Studio integration, what we are recommending is Posh Affair Women's Deep Blue Velvet Kurta Set with pants, dressy evening wear. So these are all the attributes which we have identified by going through the products page, by going through the image, the entire tech behind it. You can see that there's a lot of value addition getting done by adding these attributes. Once that is done, this is a sort of a summary screen. We can see that the titles are getting generated now after you have seen the preview. It takes some while for us to get the entire output. In this particular case, once it's completed, we can go to the Google Merchant Center, view data sources. And as you can see, supplementary sources is where our feed is getting added. And you can exactly see how many products got optimized using the title exercise. Now, we just spoke about one rule. Of course, we can extend this to multiple rules. We can do it for one category. We can do it for 5 categories. So it's a sort of an iterative process to sort of get it done across the entire catalog. Once the titles are updated, the step 4, which I spoke about in my previous screen, is the measurement step. I know this looks a little intimidating on the screen, but I want to call out the methodology we use for measurement. And that's very, very important for everybody to understand. We use a control and test methodology to measure the impact of titles. What is a control and test methodology? Very simple. Imagine suit sets is the category we just saw. Suppose you have 1,000 products in the suit set category. What we will do is we will split the suit sets randomly into two different groups. One is the control group, the second is the test group. The control group will have 500 products randomly selected, and we will not run them through updated titles. The test group is the one where we will update the titles using the Product Studio Text API. So once that is done, we measure the impact of the control group and the test group once the titles are updated. The reason that is important is there are a lot of seasonality changes which impact the scale and performance of Performance Max campaign, which is why having a control group helps us baseline the data. And the idea is what kind of incremental benefit can we see in the test group compared to the control group. What matrices do we measure? Typical matrices include the amount of spend going into these products, the amount of impressions which are shown in the control group compared to the test group, the amount of clicks we have got, and the conversions we have got. So all these key matrices of your Performance Max campaign are compared of test group compared to the control group. We can also see definitions of each of them at the bottom. So control group are feed items that maintain original content without any optimization, and treatment group or the test group are feed items that receive the optimization via the supplementary feed. So this is the rigorous methodology we follow to measure the impact of feed titles. I want to show you also that how does the entire measurement look on the BigAtom dashboard. So this is a screen share of that. Rule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can apply multiple rules like I spoke about. For each of these rules, we can look at the pre and post. In this particular case, at the top, you can see that all rules are selected. So we can see the overall impact which the feed title optimization generated. It can increase spends, increase impressions, clicks, CTR, but we can also check rule by rule. So maybe we want to check it only for our dresses category, or if you want to check it only for suit sets, we want to check it only for new arrivals on the catalog, we can select the relevant rule and see the impact which title optimization has generated. So that's the full product which we have launched. It has now come out of beta. It's fully available to all stores in Asia Pacific, including India. And just to maybe give you a little bit brief about our background, we've been in the performance marketing space for 10 plus years now. We work with roughly about 350 plus global brands. We're a top 10 partner of Meta and Google, one of the leading e-commerce partner of Google in India. And we have had numerous success stories of brands scaling from initial revenue to 50 crore revenue per annum, 100 crore revenue per annum. One of the largest brands we work with does roughly about 300 CR per annum just on their brand.com alone. And title and feed optimization is one of the key levers we have built over the years to help brands scale on D2C. So that sort of brings me to the end of my presentation. I'll hand it over to Harleen and to sort of take us through the Q&A and the panel discussion.
Sure, Anshul. Thank you so much, everyone, for those insightful pointers. And now for the live Q&A, I would request everyone to drop in any questions if they have. So we are now opening the floor to questions from the audience. Please feel free to drop your questions for Manu, Ishwinder, Shubham, and Anshul in the chat box. So we have one question. How does product page description work here? Manu, would you like to take this one up?
Sorry, I couldn't see the question, but could you repeat that again, please?
Sure. It says, how does product page description work here?
Okay, I'm assuming you mean to say how does product page description kind of plays a role in the title optimization. And I think from our perspective, Anshuk kind of covered that at the start of the presentation when we spoke about the Forest Essentials example. So while your product page could really speak about the Sondarya cream that he mentioned in his example, the Google titles ideally would be optimized for the user searches. It needs to, ideally cover in the attributes the way user searches and really optimize from that perspective. While on site, on your website, the page, the product could be kind of optimized from a perspective from a more SEO lens or on-site experience. So these could be two separate things, and that's why the title optimization from a Google lens is an important lever alongside the website on-site optimization of titles, which could be two different things as we spoke about.
Got it. So another question which we have, does this work on all types of website?
It does. Anshuk, anything you want to add?
Yes, I can of course pick that up. So it does on a high level, it works on all types of websites, but where we have seen maximum impact getting added is if you have a catalog of, let's say, more than a few hundred products. So imagine if you have a very small catalog, you have 5 products. As a founder or the marketing head, you pretty much know all your products at the top of your head. You can pretty much write down the titles. You don't need an text API or an AI or a BigAtom to do that for you. 5 minutes, you should be able to write those titles in an Excel file. So generally for smaller catalogs, we highly recommend brands to do it on their own. We have the taxonomy which was shared on the webinar itself, which can be used to write those titles. I feel generally when you have a catalog size of more than a few hundred products, imagine you have 300 products or 500 products, that's when you realize that the automation really kicks in, because manually doing it for 500 is usually harder. Plus also over a period of time, we have seen that the attributes also get updated based on what kind of search volumes we are seeing. So there is a use case of continuously sort of updating the titles. For brands which are marketplace brands, they have catalog sizes of a few thousand products. That's when it becomes super exciting. As we speak, we are working with some large marketplace brands based in India, in Australia, which have catalog sizes of 100,000, 200,000. That's where we have realized that manually is almost impossible to do. So that's how I'll categorize it in terms of sort of impact. But yes, even if you have one product and you optimize the title, you will see the impact in Performance Max campaigns.
Got it. Thank you so much, Anshu. So the next question which we have is it just visibility or does it also impact conversions? Manu, would you like to take this one up?
Yeah, I can add. I think in a couple of case studies that Anshuk shared spoke about these as well. So titles from a shopping campaigns perspective, that's standard shopping or PMax from a Google perspective. Titles are one of the key ingredients that impacts the entire performance. So visibility being one in terms of impressions and then of course clicks. But I think the most important metrics which title kind of optimizes or helps in improving performance is conversion rates and conversion as such. And I think there are two key reasons for these. One is, of course, optimized titles really relate well to what the user is searching. So your products show up well when somebody is searching specifically for attributes they're looking for. It also helps basically on the cost side because the user knows beforehand on what are they searching for and is your product or website offering that. And hence it leads to lower dropouts in that sense, and people have clear expectations on what to expect. So not just it improves performance, it improves the efficiency as well. And yes, to the question, then I think optimized titles not just improve visibility, but they greatly impact on overall performance and improve that.
Right. So another question which we have is multiple names. Do multiple names for the same product work?
I can sort of take that up. I think the question, if I rephrase it correctly, is can we have a name for a product on the website, and can we have a name for the same product on Google Merchant Center? So that's one of the things which I also tried to cover, that the best practice also says that the name on the website need not be same as the name on Merchant Center. The website is mostly for people who can easily read your product. They're already on your website. But on the Merchant Center, the product title actually also serves one more purpose, which is basically helping you discover the product, which is why you need to have all those right attributes, so that if people are searching for them, your product sort of comes at the top. So that's the learning we have. Anything, Ishwinder, you'd like to add to that?
No, that's perfect, Anshuk. Like that's the real difference, right? Optimizing for discoverability versus optimizing for readability. And specific answer to the question is that these two titles could be completely different, optimized for different users. So you got it there.
Got it. Thank you so much for your answers. Another question which we have, can you tell us a bit about the tech and automation abilities that BigAtom brings in? Shubham, maybe you can take this one out.
Sure. Thank you, Arlene. So, from a tech automation, obviously, we recently, we launched today the product, Google's Product Studio Text API. So that's obviously one part of it. Along with that, in BigAtom, we also have product performance management, which typically is where we treat each SKU as a separate P&L metric. So we give you product level analytics, category level analytics, for you to understand which SKUs in your entire catalog is working well and which are not performing well. Now, it's just not limited to analytics, but we do have certain automations around it where you can create certain stop loss rules, excluding the lower performing products from your catalog completely on Google or on other platforms as well. So the idea here behind is to help you scale your performance marketing campaigns or help you scale your top line with the help of BigAtom by removing lower performing products. We also give you analytics around top performing products as well, where you can create multiple product sets, which can be then pushed to Google Performance Max campaigns as well. Along with that, we do have some creative automations as well. So applying overlays on your catalog is something that's very helpful and that we can help you automate within the system as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Shubham. We have one more question. What are the key performance indicators we should monitor to evaluate the success of title optimization? Ishwinder, maybe you can take this one up.
Manu, do you want to take it?
Yeah, I'll do that. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think again something that we covered in the presentation well enough, but I think the key parameters that we recommend usually to see the impact of optimized titles are of course the impressions, which really speak about the visibility. Speaking to what the user is searching and how are your products kind of more visible because of the optimized titles. It is also about clicks. Again, reflecting on the fact that how clearly are the titles now reflecting the user searches, and then importantly on conversions, which we look through either through click-through rates or conversion rates, and importantly from our perspective, which reflect the consistency in terms of meeting the user expectation on what are they searching for and what is your product show and how does this relate to your landing page. Importantly, just want to re-emphasize what Anshuk mentioned in his presentation, that you should always kind of do something, which is one of the capabilities of BigAtom, is to do the A and B testing in terms of really seeing how the optimized title is impacting these parameters we spoke about. Restricting your only title changes, only the changes to titles, and really then seeing how are your clicks improving, the impressions changing, and then your conversion rates and click-through rates changing. That will really give you an indication of what do the improved titles are doing to your overall performance.
Got it. Thank you so much, Manu. We have one more question. Can you tell us, what are some key features within BigAtom that help brand scale effectively? Shubham?
Yeah, I think I already covered this, Harleen. We mentioned about product performance management and creative management, along with the feed optimization, what we just presented today.
Got it. I would request everyone to please send in their questions if they have any. We just received one question. How often should product titles be refreshed in the merchant center to stay competitive and relevant?
Yeah, I can take that up. I think I wanted to kind of address this when Anshuk was speaking about that. Why is the optimization required, or basically the automation necessary when you have a large catalog? One is, of course, you need automation to do this, because when you have a large catalog, it's manually extremely difficult to do that. But I think importantly, the other aspect is that the frequency of changes need to be, well, there's no defined rule as such, but the frequency as such is requires you to have an automation that can help you solve it. Manually, to track how frequently do you need to change the titles often becomes difficult. And from our perspective and experience, we've seen a couple of reasons why you would continue to change your titles. The one is, of course, the performance base. So if you're seeing certain product items doing very well while others not really getting the requisite impressions and clicks, you really want to segment out these and really try out different titles to see if the performance changes. And that really working on those underperformers in your kind of product suite really helps, is could be one of the reasons why you want to kind of continuously change titles and try out new ones. And that's why the frequency is important. The others are, of course, seasonality. For example, a summer dress, a winter dress, a spring season could be in an apparel kind of a vertical that will require you to continuously update your titles to speak about the seasonality changes that are happening. We'll also see the competitive landscape. So, for example, if your competitors are using either the structure or titles, which tend to doing very well or speaking to the customer behavior in a certain better way, that would be a compelling reason for you to also relook at those titles and see, or maybe experiment with a newer structure or a newer set of titles. So that again becomes one of the reasons why you'd want to kind of change it. And importantly, of course, product features as well. Anything that's new being updated in your product suite, anything that you want to change in terms of the customer user attributes, in terms of searches that they're doing, that needs to be again incorporated. So multiple reasons, while there's no set frequency, but multiple compelling reasons for you to continuously look at why the title needs to be kind of changed and updated in that sense. And I think that's why a solution like BigAtom, and from a Google perspective, it's an absolute great integration that we've been very proud to have, because it just helps not just solve for large scale product SKUs, but also to solve for the frequency that such an optimization requires.
Got it. Thank you so much, Manu. I hope this answers our audience's question. We have one more question with us. What does the onboarding process look like for a new brand? Shubham, would you like to take this one up?
Yes. So onboarding process for us is pretty simple. We just need access to your ad accounts, your website backend, and your Google Merchant Center. So all these three things is what we need. And these are pretty single click integrations for us. Like we mentioned today, we have launched this Google Product Studio Text API. So all these integrations are pretty smooth for us and takes about not more than 15 minutes for you to integrate on BigAtom. Once the integrations are done, within 2 to 3 hours, the data starts flowing into the system, and then we can get started on the work as well. Harleen, do you mind presenting the QR code slide as well? Just want to call out, Anshuk mentioned in the beginning, we are offering a 30-day free trial on this on Google Product Studio Text API. There's a QR code on the screen that you can see. You can book a call with our team using this code and get started on a free trial as well. Yeah, here's the QR code that you can see on the screen. Feel free to book a call in the upcoming days to get started with the Google Product Studio Text API.
Yes, I would request everyone to please scan this QR code. So with that, we come to the end of our webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for those insightful answers. A huge shout out to the panel for the amazing, amazing insights, and a special thank you to everyone who joined us today. Stay tuned for our next webinar. We'll keep you posted. Thank you.